Combat
show is
Kitty.
doing. Combat Kitty.
Cat.
So let's get right to what we're here to talk about, and that's Rain. So, Stephanie, just kind of give a brief overview on. For some people, might not know who Rain is, or
Rain
things like that.
He's an Edenian, and he is the son of Argus, who is an Edenian god. He's almost like the Raiden of that world, like a big wig in the pantheon. And being a demigod makes him very, very arrogant. He is very proud to have these god powers, and that's pretty much all he talks about is how powerful and how great he is. Like half of his quips are telling you to bow before his godhood and stuff. He's very into it. One of the cool new things in this game is he has a guitar, which is an old Indian weapon. It's this short blade thing you put on your knuckles, and it can extend into 3 different blades. And that's new to the series. Previously he used a sword in Armageddon, and this is way more interesting in my opinion. And what
kind of place are we looking at?
Swaggy, I would say. Flashy, really cool combos, more combo starters than most characters have with less restrictions. I think that's probably the coolest thing about him.
Awesome. So we're going to actually show some Rain videos, and you can kind of talk through them, and we'll show how Rain plays. So let's take a look at just Rain's general fight style.
So to start off, we'll talk about his guitar. He uses it in a bunch of his normals. His uppercut, his jumps, his wake-up attacks, and a bunch of his strings. You can see here this is his back 2, which is a really quick mid. You can hit confirm. And then this one's really good, his forward 2. It has really good range. It's got a couple of options. And this version has a crushing blow if it's a counter hit. And the main reason I wanted to show it is it's really gross to me. It feels really painful. This cut freaks me out. He also uses his powers in his normal attack. You can see here is his 4-4, which is like a sweep kick where he knocks you down. And he has a back 3 where he literally surfs on a wave. And then he has this really cool back 1-4. And the neat thing is this, you can delay it and then appear on the other side of them. So you can choose to switch sides or not. Now we're showing his throws, and this is notable because like a few characters, he has 2 crushing blows, 1 on each throw, and they're done with the standard requirement. And this is one I wanted to show just because I think it's extremely nasty. He actually impales their own hand.
Awesome. So that's just his general sort of movement and fight style, sort of the stuff he starts with, his punches and his kicks, pretty much.
His range is not the best. The guitar is really sharp and it's great for slashing, but it doesn't have the best range. It's pretty much his arm length. But his moves are pretty quick. He's got some decent mids, a pretty fast low. So I would say not the best range, but pretty good when he gets up close. And I think his special moves complement the fact that his normals aren't the farthest reaching, because he has a lot of projectiles in.
And if he touches you once, you're basically going to Prince Schwagtown through Comboville. It's going to be great. It's awesome. What he can connect and do, yeah, it's awesome.
That's not how I would describe it, but that would be accurate, yes.
Yeah.
Let's take that segue and take a look at some of his default special moves.
So first up is the around the world kick. To me, this is the classic Rain move. In this game, one of the new things is we show that he's actually kicking you through a portal and you're coming out the other end. So the move finally makes sense. That sort of makes sense. He also has this new water ball where he travels full screen and then captures you and does the Izuna drop. And it's kind of like Raiden's command. You can use it to punish or to end your combos. And it has a crushing blow if he goes full screen or if it's his armor breaker. So if you're in the middle of the combo and you think they're going to break away, you can use that to punish you. And then lastly here, he has this really cool projectile. I think this is one of the neat things about him. It's a very fast, good recovery, high attack, but he has 2 different ways to amplify it. He can either let it hit, stick in them, then amplify, and then he gets a knockdown or damage. Or he can actually amplify it while it's traveling and it becomes a mid. So the idea would be you're throwing it, it's a high. If they're ducking it, he can actually amplify it right when it's over their head and it becomes a mid and it'll hit them. Or you can do it early and they have to duck the whole time because they know it's coming and stuff like that, and you can mix it up. And I think that's pretty cool. So you get less damage, but it becomes a mid.
That's awesome. A new way of using a projectile for him.
Yeah,
and he has
pretty
unique ways to also advance across screen too, with the Argus plunge turning into the ball, and then as we'll see later as well, he has a good way to advance to get to where he wants to be.
Exactly. So it's like I was saying, the range on his weapon's not that great, but he has the special moves that go literally full screen. He can control the screen if he wants to take a risk and do that.
Right.
And he has one
Let's
more
keep going
move
with that one.
and this is his evaporate, where he literally turns into a pillar of water, and he then becomes invincible. Projectiles and even normal attacks will just pass by him. So you're going to have to either hit him as he's recovering or hit him as he's coming out of it. It's pretty awesome and trolly.
Awesome. That water move is great. I loved it when I first saw it in the trailer, and
Yeah, it
just
looks awesome.
Codal just gets bodied, so that was fun.
Codal, he's always getting bodied.
Always getting bodied. Up next, let's take a look at the first variation of Rain.
So this variation is all about his quantum rifts into the water realm. And he gets this new move. It replaces the bubble. And it's like a big full screen, well, not full screen, but like half screen slash. It's got good pushback on block when he amplifies it. And he can actually do it in the air. And what's cool is he can do it in the air 2 different ways. You can go straight across, or you can go down like a dive kick. And it's very, very quick. And if he amplifies it, he gets the second hit. Then he gains this portal. And once he has this on screen, it'll absorb projectiles. You can see right here. And the difference with Evaporate is he gets to move around. So you can put the portal out, and then you can like go behind it, advance in front, and it's going to absorb any projectile. And if he absorbs 2, his crushing blow is loaded. And the next time he gets the slash, he's going to get big damage.
So that's an interesting way of, we've had, projectile parries in the past, which this isn't. But it is another way of controlling how someone uses projectile against you. Like you're playing against Sub-Zero, and all he wants to do is freeze you. You put that in front of you, you still have range of motion, and he's scared to throw anything at you.
Exactly. And then, as Derek said, he has all these special moves that have really good range, and then that complements it. He gets them to calm down and not do their zoning, and then he can kind of do the slash or, his Qatar toss and stuff like that regulate all that full screen space.
Yeah. The range on the quantum slice is just absolutely ridiculous. It's like half screen, almost full screen. And then when you put the rift up, you can try and dash back and forth with the air slice as well to try and get in closer. So he's just kind of set stuff up just so he can get in because he has that up close game to take you to Combo Town.
Is that's a town, Combo Town?
Yeah.
Back to Combo Town. So that's just a really good variation to control the other person's movements. A lot of players like to be in charge of how that person plays, kind of.
Yeah, good range, good mobility, and then he gets to regulate zoning.
Excellent.
And I also like how we've changed. I was going to say, I like how we've changed the roundhouse. Like, he still has it, but we put a little extra flair on it because he has that, I'm a god! I can spin 3 times first and then kick you. It's awesome.
Oh, the spin is so cool. And the idea of him transporting to that water world, I think, is really neat. And to be clear, that's not the Kevin Costner 90s water world.
Sure. I think we all are aware of that.
Okay,
it's interesting because I remember when I was a kid, I was like, does Rain shoot them? Does he shoot them all the way around the world? No, it's through portals.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what it is.
It would be silly. It's a portal. Yeah, we're a more realistic, grounded take on MK now.
Yeah,
don't be silly, Tyler. Let's take a look at the first part of Rain Variation 2.
So Variation 2 has this advancing palm strike, and what's neat is you can actually delay it. You can delay it just a second, you can delay it for a real long time and get a crushing blow, or you can cancel the delay and actually
got caught.
Or fake it out and then backdash or go in for a throw or whatever. And so like a simple way to use this is to use the evasiveness and dodge stuff and then whiff punish it, like knock them down, go into the palm, they're going to with their wake up attack, and then boom, you get them and break their ribs.
We've all played against people who really rely on wake ups, and that's a great way
Like every
to start
online
making
player ever.
like that.
What?
It's a really good way to make them think maybe you shouldn't do that this time. They still will, but they're not going to get hurt doing it. So
Yes. So when Derek won't stop reading up, at least you can break his rib cage.
Ball roll,
Sure.
ball roll, ball roll.
let's take a look at the end of that one.
Then he has this splash move, and this actually leaves them standing, and Rain gets advantage. You can use it to end strings, but it also respans if they're in the air. So after a juggle combo, he can do it, and then that prevents them having any knockdown at all. So this variation basically really blows up wake ups.
Oh,
Cool.
Good. Now we have,
No,
we
it
have a
has one
second
more, yeah.
part, we have a second part of variation 2. Let's take a look at that.
And so this is his anti-air splash, where he squirts this water out, and this is awesome for preemptive anti-airing. If you, with a jump, if you think a jump's coming, you can absolutely regulate the air. If he amplifies it, you get the combo. So what's really cool is this doesn't conflict with the around the world kick. And that means he gets pretty swaggy combos, because you get 2 different combo things. So there's a lot. If you want to use 2 bars, you can really get big damage and look really awesome, which is probably even more important than the damage, let's be honest.
Always.
I like that there was one move in there that actually set up the water spout.
Exactly. It doesn't have to
up?
be an anti-air. Yes, 1-3-3. He kicks you up in the air, and it's like it was made for it. It's perfect.
And as a player of my skill level, I'm always looking for moves that make it very easy for me to do specials after them. Shiva has something like that. This is definitely one of those. So that's
Oh yeah, it's the reaction of the pop-up move is just begging you to do the water. So
Right
I think
on.
this variation is the combo variation for sure. Like he has good combos in all 3, but this one to me really stands out. If you are someone who you have no problem using bars, just left willy-nilly because you want to do big combos, this is a great variation for you.
Sounds good. And let's take a look at variation 3.
First off, this costume is awesome. I love the hood. So first you get this tidal wave, which is a really quick low with great, deceptively great range. If he amplifies it, it has 100 active frames. And this is also great for people that like to duck. And then he also gets the classic NK Trilogy water bubble, which is a high. So if they won't stop ducking it, you can use the tidal wave, and that's going to regulate, mid-screen. And the neat thing about the bubble is when he amplifies it, he can choose which direction they're going to fall. He gets 4 different options. So he can throw them back, over his head, straight up, or down and bounce. And it's 4 different reactions, so 4 different ways to combo them. You could throw them out of the corner. You could throw them into the corner. You could do max damage. You can get really good Oki. There's all these different options for how you combo, depending on how you have in the water.
There's no better feeling too in some of our games. We have a lot of characters who have a move that makes the other player have nothing they can do, and like doing it where like I can choose to throw you up, down, back, forward, doesn't matter. That's just a good feeling as a player, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid playing MK1 and that spear, and then you're just like, I get a free uppercut. Like, this is now the best game ever made. So those are always psychologically fun.
I always remember putting people in the bubble in MK9 and then just teabagging, which was always fun.
That sounds right up your alley. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's on brand.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Let's take a look at Rain's Fatal Blow. What can you tell me about the into for that? What's the deal there?
I think the cool thing is it's pretty quick and it's got pretty good range because he holds his arm up, and it's not just the arm, it's like the little water that comes up in front of it.
Got you.
So it's a pretty standard one. The coolest in my opinion, the audio at the end when it's thundering, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're gonna show you the fatality that was shown in the trailer. We've heard from people that sometimes maybe don't show everything on the Kombat Cast. We might save the last fatality for later in the future. But let's show the fatality right now. Ploop, ploop.
The flopping is so good. I love it.
That's awesome. So that, in a nutshell, is Rain. Of course, you know, when you get a chance to play Rain, you're going to learn a lot more and figure things out. But that's what we're going to show you today. Any final thoughts on Rain, everyone?
He does have a couple moves that we didn't show that you can choose if you want. He's got the classic trilogy, lifting his arm up and the lightning strikes. He's got a really unique, wacky move where it's this buff and he turns it on and his dashes become faster, which is kind of a weird, fun thing. So there's a couple things to look for when the game comes out.
His personality is probably one of the most fun, for sure, because he's just a cocky asshole. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
And then I think he'll appeal to multiple different types of players, too. Like, obviously, you got to get up close to do a lot of the damage and the swaggy combos, but you can also do things and stay back with Rain as well and still link into some of those swaggy combos. So I think he's going to appeal to a lot of different player types.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you, Derek, too, where it comes to, we have arrogant characters in our game, Johnny Cage, Shao Kahn, I would say, but this is a different type. This is a regal type of arrogance that I'm very excited to. You know, we always get those YouTube videos after the game comes out where people start showing all the videos of people talking back and forth, and this, to me, is going to be a really big one, because he's a jerk, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. He's a demigod!
He's a demigod. If only I could ever reach demigod. Derek,
Hi.
for you, I think it's time for my favorite part of any Kombat Cast. Birthday shout-outs, everybody.